Hi, it's Olaide, one of the Psychology Academic Mentors. This tutorial is going to explore effective revision techniques. It is based on a study that was done in 2018. The reference is on a slide towards the end of the video if you're interested in further reading. Right, so researchers found that rereading, highlighting, note-taking, outlining, and flashcards are the most popular techniques used by students. However, they may not be used in the most effective way. This video will go through how to make them more effective so that you get the most out of your revision in preparation for your exams. We will look at each one in turn. First, we will look at rereading. So what is it? Simply reading the same text several times. We all do it, but there is a major issue with it. It is completely passive. What does this mean? It means that we're not putting in any effort to learn or remember what we are reading. In order for rereading to be more effective, it needs to be an active process. Somehow though, we trick ourselves into thinking that we know the content because when we open that page up again, we get memory cues from the pages and can recall some of it. But when those memory cues are gone, we won't remember it at all. I know I've been in a situation thinking, yes, I know this now, and then gone into test situation and thought, oh my goodness, actually no, I don't. So how do we make it more effective? Essentially, we need to make it an active process. This is literally the key to everything. In this case, we need to reread the text several times before the exam. It has been found to be the most effective when there are time intervals between each reading. The best results come from intervals of 4 days, but this still isn't an active process as such. So how do we make it active? Well, you need to try and recall the information before rereading it for a second and subsequent times. So test yourself. Do you know it yet? Rereading as a technique is best when you have to remember key facts. So it's a good way to revise for MCQ tests and to remember certain things in research methods and stats, and also to remember references. The second strategy is highlighting. So what is it? Highlighting refers to marking work to draw attention to important text, to aid recall, as well as to make it easier to identify later on. We often use highlighters, but the term highlighting can also include underlining or circling text. Again, there is an issue with this. Students often don't highlight enough or highlight irrelevant information. Personally, I'm trigger happy with a highlighter, so I highlight too much information, and this takes away from the purpose. So, how do I and how do you make it more effective? Well, the best thing to do is to read the entire text first and then have a think about what the important parts are. This is active. Then, go back and highlight the key information. Another way to make it active is to then reread over the highlighted parts and rewrite them in your own words. This links into the next technique. But for now, another way to make highlighting effective is by using different colours for different things. So one colour for key references, another for critical analysis, one for key facts, and so on. Highlighting is a useful strategy for all exams. However, as you will notice as we go along, it is important to use these techniques in collaboration with each other to make them more effective. The third strategy, note-taking. So what is it? It refers to writing summaries of important information in your own words. This can be done in lectures or while reading the textbooks or articles that you have been assigned. Again though, there is an issue with it. Very often, I know I'm guilty of this, students write notes verbatim, so in exactly the same words as the textbook or the lecturer. However, this is not beneficial at all. Can you think of why? Well, because it's passive. So it isn't an active process at all. Research has found that students who take notes in lectures with a laptop are more likely to take verbatim notes, so be careful if this applies to you. The other thing to note here is that taking notes in lectures actually interferes with the audio-visual learning, so learning in lectures. So going back to the first point, can notes be taken in lectures? Yes, but is it worth it? Maybe not. So, how do we make note-taking more effective? Well, firstly, by not copying them verbatim, making sure that all our notes are in our own words. You are more likely to remember something if they are in your own words. Secondly, read and reread your notes after they have been written, because writing your notes alone is not beneficial to retention. I know I'm guilty of writing notes and never looking at them again, but this is completely useless. Make notes effective by writing them 1. In your own time, not in lectures, 2. By writing them in your own words, and 3. By actually rereading them. Note-taking is useful for all exams. The fourth technique, outlining. What is it? It's a structural representation of the main points of a topic being studied. This outline can be filled in gradually from a lecture recording or from key texts. Cornell note type templates can be used. The issue of this, similar to highlighting, is that students can often add irrelevant information to the outline that would not be beneficial. So, how do we make it more effective? Well, by using pre-prepared skeletal outlines to take note of key information and form an outline to the topic. This will help you understand the presented information, remember information after a time lag, and will be beneficial in applying the information to solve problems or ask questions. As suggested earlier, a pre-prepared skeletal outline could be in the form of Cornell notes, or you can make your own unique outline structure. Similar to note-taking, to make outlining more effective, it would be worth reading all of the relevant text first or listening to the lecture in full before attempting to outline so that you can include all of the relevant information. This technique is useful for all exams. Lastly, we have flashcards. So what are they? They are cards with questions on one side and the answer on the other, or a key term on one side and the definition on the other. Like all other techniques, there is an issue with it. Students often do not know when to stop using flashcards. Dropping the flashcards that are well learnt at an appropriate time will allow students more study opportunity for yet to be learnt flashcards. I know I used to do this a lot. I will test myself on cards that I already know to make myself feel better. Of course, this isn't beneficial at all. So put those cards down and move on to active learning on cards that you haven't learnt yet. It's worth noting though that it is difficult to use flashcards for higher order information as they are less detailed and simply lead to associative learning, so only use them when appropriate. When are they appropriate? Well, when studying for MCQ tests and short answer questions. Okay, so how do we make them more effective? Well, we need to continue to use them until all the information is completely recalled. Keep the cards in rotation until you are able to recall them 5 times correctly. You are more likely to remember them up to 48 hours later if you can recall the information 5 times correctly. But, similar to rereading, time lags are important. Longer lags in between the same item produces better performance. Feel free to pause the video here. This is a summary of all the techniques, the common pitfalls, tips for optimal implementation, and the types of tests they are useful for. The information provided in this tutorial, as stated at the beginning, is based on the study referenced on the screen. And that's it. So as per usual, your academic mentors are here to support you. So if you do need further support with revision, please do give us a shout. We hope to hear from you soon. Bye.